the first time in 313 days, the U.S. women's national team back on home soil, hosting Colombia at Exploria Stadium in Orlando. And Megan Rapinoe back on the pitch for the first time for the U.S. since March after taking some time off. She told us she has never been more rested in her entire career and says this team is in a really good place. With that, we say welcome to the Volkswagen pregame show alongside the Heather O'Reilly and Alexi Lawless. I'm Sarah Walsh. It is an important year for the U.S. women as the next few months are going to include the She Believes Cup here on Fox Sports, the tune-up for the Summer Olympics. But Heather, it is great to have the Stars and Stripes back in action again.
I'm sure it's great for the players, but it's also great for me. Lex, I haven't seen you in so long. It's so good to see you again.
Oh, thank you. No one said that to me in a long time.
But in all seriousness, this team is back together doing what they love to do every day, and that's playing with some of the very best players in the world. Remember, they've been training on their own for most of the last, 7 months? So they're happy to be together. But today, there's a bit of a harsh reality. There is 9 players that are in the stands watching this team come out today that are not part of this game roster. So the drama is building for Vlatko Andonovski to put together his Olympic squad.
Yeah, Andonovski has a really tough task ahead of him, Alexi. He's got to whittle this roster down to 18 by the time they go to the Olympics.
Yeah, but he's also got an embarrassment of riches. Way back before you were probably even born, back in 1992, there was an Olympics in Barcelona.
That's
the U.S.
nice of you,
men's
by the way.
basketball team, if you remember, the Dream Team, right? You had Bird and Magic and Jordan. And their legendary intra-squad scrimmages that they have. And this U.S. women's national team is a lot like that in that the camp situation that they have is often more competitive than, let's be honest, the majority of games that they are going to play, including probably the one here tonight. So what does Vlatko have to figure out? All right, so number one, 18-player roster. So are you bringing value? That competition that we're talking about just gets ratcheted up a whole nother notch. Number two, versatility. Can you play multiple positions like a Crystal Dunn or a Julie Ertz? That puts your value even more. And number three, fitness and age. You mentioned Megan Rapinoe. Megan Rapinoe at 35, Carly Lloyd at 38. 2 days of rest in the Olympics. So it's not necessarily that you're a great player. Are you a great player for the job at hand this summer? And that's really going to be interesting what this next 6 months is going to be about.
Okay, he has 27 players in camp. He told us this week that tonight he is putting the best 11 right now to start tonight. So Heather, take us through the starting lineup.
And this starting lineup is not a ton different than we've seen with Vlatko Andonovski in the past. Nair will find herself in goal. In front of her, Becky Sauerbrunn, newly minted, again, captain of the U.S. women's national team. Up front, we have Carly Lloyd and Megan Rapinoe finding time that they have not seen in a long time for the U.S., and all 3 of these players will be eager to score some goals tonight.
It is time now for Match Day All Access, sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. Here's the U.S. coach on his new captain just moments ago.
So we did a lot of study, a lot of analysis on what would take for the captain for a player to be captain of the national team, and after everything that we looked into, it seems like Becky was the perfect fit to fulfill all the roles that the captains needs to fulfill, and all the qualities that the captain needs to possess. We had an opportunity to have a test run in Holland in the last camp, and Becky did an incredible job. So going forward, she will be the captain of the U.S. women's national team.
Also doing an incredible job of Vlatko. What a beginning for him. A perfect 11-0. That is the best start in U.S. women's national team history. His win against the Netherlands in November broke a tie with Pia Sundhage. Alexi, as for the team that they're going to be facing tonight, take us through the Colombian lineup.
Oh, Sarah, you know him. You love him. Nelson Abadia. He zigs and he zags. He's brought an all-domestic team here. Players that he has playing over in Spain are not available here, but he does have Catalina Usme, the 31-year-old forward. You might remember him from a few years ago, 2006 Olympics, when she scored 2 goals in the 2-2 tie with the U.S. Do you remember that one?
Why do you got to bring up those times?
Don't worry, you weren't involved, all right? You wash your hands of it. Also in goal, look, there's going to be plenty of opportunities to score. Sandra Sepulveda, the 32-year-old goalkeeper, she's been with Colombia over a decade in goal. Also, 9 teenagers on this roster, including Linda Caicedo, who's on the bench, 15 years old. We might see her come into the game, which would be something.
Colombia has a tough task ahead of them, and that includes perhaps Catarina Macario, who could make her highly anticipated national team debut tonight. The 2-time Herman Trophy winner out of Stanford granted FIFA approval just last week to join the U.S. team. She was born in Brazil. She moved here at the age of 12. And oh, by the way, she also just signed with Lyon last week. Huge week for her. Kickoff against Colombia approaching. Our coverage is presented by the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport as the #1 team in the world takes on Colombia tonight, riding a 32-game unbeaten streak. The U.S. women with plenty to look forward to in the next couple of years. Next month brings 3 more matches as part of the She Believes Cup. Then in the summer, they're going to head to Japan to take part in the Olympics. The Americans hoping to capture a record 5th gold medal. In July of 2022, the focus is going to shift to the CONCACAF Championship, a tournament that serves as qualifying for the following year's World Cup. And provided the U.S. qualifies 2023, it's going to be all about defending their World Cup crown. Fox Sports, again, your home for the greatest sporting event on the planet. The U.S. with a chance to make history in Australia and New Zealand. No country has ever won 3 consecutive World Cups on either the men's or women's side. The Americans looking to replicate their success from both 2015 and 2019. And of course, Carly Lloyd, a big part of those World Cup triumphs. Tonight, she starts against Colombia. Lloyd inching towards her 300th cap. We're going to identify the players to watch next. The U.S. women return to the pitch tonight to take on Colombia. Julie Ertz back at Exploria Stadium, where she earned her 100th cap last March against England. You know, Vlatko Antonowski told us everyone came into this camp fit and ready, and the happier he said that makes him, the harder it also makes the job that he's got ahead of him cutting this roster down. Alexi, who are you watching tonight?
Megan Rapinoe. You know, you're looking at arguably the most famous American soccer player in history, and certainly at this point, one of the most famous American athletes going right now for what she does on and off the field. But the platform that she has, that platform was created with her incredible ability on the field. And we haven't seen her in years. She's taken a year sabbatical, recharged the batteries in body and mind. So we'll see how she looks, because this sport waits for no one.
Who do you like tonight?
Well, the one player that I'm going to be watching isn't in the starting lineup, but it's that woman right there, Catarina Macario. She's already broken my heart once when UNC lost to her in Stanford in the NCAA final last year. Great player. As you spoke to earlier, Sarah, she just had a huge week signing with Lyon, getting the okay from FIFA to suit up with the women's national team. We can expect her to come off the bench tonight. She's great as a withdrawn forward, playing underneath, and she's dangerous getting behind. She can create chances, and she will tonight.
Yeah, you mentioned the big things that have happened to her within the last week, and then tonight a national team debut. The U.S. women playing their first match of 2021 tonight. They're going to be back on our air next month when they take part in that She Believes Cup. Andonovski's side set to face Canada, Brazil, and Japan. All three games you can see live on FS1. The #1 team in the world ready to kick off against Colombia. The last time these two met, it was the 2016 Olympics. That one ended in a tie. We're going to see you at the half. JP Delacamera and Allie Wagner on the call next.
This match on FS1 is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. The world champions are back, and 2021 begins with Colombia standing in their way.
And not a bad start to the new era.
Can Coach Vlatko continue his perfect start?
Now finds Rapinoe in, shot, goal, 3-0 U.S.
And can the U.S. send a message that they're hungrier than ever?
The finish by Carly Lloyd.
Find out next on FS1.
The USA women's national team will open up their 37th year of competition with the first of two friendlies versus South American side Colombia from Exploria Stadium in Orlando, Florida, the home of the Orlando Pride of the NWSL and Orlando City SC of Major League Soccer. Teams are out of the tunnel. Julie Ertz, Megan Rapinoe wearing the Black Lives Matter jerseys today. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the U.S. women's national team will continue to express themselves in words and actions as they fight against racial injustice and racial inequality and fight for equality for all. Two teams lined up side by side as we await the national anthems of the two countries.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of the national anthem of Colombia, followed by the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner.
With Black Lives Matter on the front of their jerseys. The USA women are getting ready to take on Colombia. It's the first time in their long existence that they've opened up a calendar year playing against a South American team. Overall, unbeaten at 32 as we look at the USA's starting lineup. Let's bring in Allie Wagner.
Well, Vlaco told us yesterday that this group played themselves into that starting 11, so there's really no surprises. Usual suspects in that back line and in net. But things start to get interesting in midfield with Haran, Mewis, and Ertz. This is a big, strong personality midfield. They're going to have the ability to win first and second balls, and that's important against a Colombia team that wants to play direct in their 9. And then as you look up top with Rapinoe, Lloyd, and Williams, believe it or not, first time out since just about under a year ago for Lloyd and Rapinoe for the U.S. And on that right side with Lynn Williams, she has earned 6 starts out of 12 under Vlaco. She led the team in assists last year, and I think it's going to be important for her tonight to drive in line and play that cutback ball against a Colombian side that is likely to sit back deep and get pinned in. And you look at experience for U.S., it's a relatively unexperienced Colombian side, especially in that back line. 2 players getting their first start, and that's in the right back position, Ibarguen, and in the right center back position, Karabali. They're going to have their hands full with Rapinoe, Haran, and Dunn, who likes to get forward. In midfield, no typical 6 for them. They've slid in Caro, but Uzme, as Alexi touched on, is a key player for them. She leads this team in goals, and she's going to be one of their key outlets, along with Romero, to break pressure from this U.S. press.
Very experienced officiating crew led by Karen Abt, NWSL referee. She is from Colorado. You have Katie Nesbitt as the AR1, 2020 MLS AR of the Year, along with Brooke Mayo and Danielle Chesky. Allie, what about some keys? What do we look for tonight?
Well, look, I think there's going to be a lot to pay attention to. Under Vlaco and Amnoski, we've seen the evolution of the 10s and how they can impact the game and the build-out, getting that seam too. They're going to be responsible to change the point against the Colombian side that really likes to squeeze the game vertically and activate in that final third if they can pin Colombia back. Set-piece execution is going to be huge because Colombia is very aggressive. I think the U.S. will win a lot of set pieces in dangerous areas, and that's where they have advantages. With the 9, Colombia likes to find them. U.S. can eliminate that person's influence, and then the pressure schemes. How do they go from their mid-block into a high press and put Colombia under?
It's Catalina Uzme, the captain of Colombia, and as we mentioned earlier, the new captain, Becky Sauerbrunn. U.S. has had a trio of captains before, but right now, it's just one, and it is Sauerbrunn. USA in the white tops, blue shorts. Colombia in the blue and yellow, and they have it. We're underway from Orlando, Florida. Salazar, 21 for Colombia, will push it back. 2 of the players in the back 4 for Colombia are playing in their first international game.
Lucky for them, though, they do have some experience to the left of them, and Daniela Arias and Velasquez on that left side. But they're going to be up against it with Rapinoe, Dunn getting forward, and Haran.
Right back, Ibarguen is making her international debut. The right center back, Karabali, the same. Lynn Williams on it. 6 in white for the U.S. Broken up. U.S. recovers. Williams will slide it over. Into the middle. Mewis. Low and cut off. Looked like it was going to be a decent ball. Here's Uzme. Lost it there. Julie Ertz picks it up. Rapinoe. The cross. It'll bounce. It almost bounced over Sepulveda. Our first look at Rapinoe. Our first look at Lloyd. Allie, since She Believes Cup last February.
Who would have thought? Those 2 players out of action, but coming in strong. I mean, this is a competitive group that came into January camp, and they earned their way into this 11. It wasn't given on experience or previous performances. Vlaco said they are fit and they're in form.
Here in the second minute, that's Abby Dahlkemper. Her next club team will be Manchester City. She'll leave after the game sometime Friday, the second game against Colombia. They'll come back to the experienced Sepulveda, who's been on 4 big tournament rosters. 2 World Cups, 2 Olympics. Vlatko Andonovski has the best ever start as a U.S. women's national team coach. Can't do better than that. Perfect. 11-0-0. expected to win these next couple of games before the competition heats up with She Believes Cup, when the opponents get better, with Brazil, Canada, and Japan all coming to the U.S. to play. Colombia's coach is Nelson Abadia. He was successful in the 2019 Pan American Games, where they won it, but they haven't played a game since, which is one of the problems with this Colombian side, Ali. They have not played a game since 2019. It's 4 years.
You're preaching to the choir. I mean, they've got to continue to invest in their women's program. Get a look at the mix up there between Rapinoe and Caro, and it's actually put Colombia in a good position here on the set piece.
From distance. The left foot passed in. It's loose in the box. And they've got contact in there. USA will have it. Usme scored on a couple of free kicks in the 2016 Olympics, so she's always a threat, but that time she was looking for someone else.
And a bunch of them offside when that ball was sent in.
Yeah. U.S. out of the back. Very experienced back line for the U.S. No changes. This is what we're used to seeing, with O'Hara and Dunn on the outside and Sauerbrunn and Dahlkemper central. Lindsey Horan, nice ball. Rapinoe on the move. 3 in the box. U.S. 1-0 U.S.
It's really just a walking goal. There's a ton of space out there. First of all, the diagonal ball into the 10 is so important from the U.S. They've been working on that. Horan gets herself faced up and then lays a nice ball Rapinoe can run onto. Has plenty of time to be able to pick her head up and find the run of Sam Ewis, just arriving late in the box with no marker on her. Really training ground stuff here for the U.S., and it's a lot of space. If you give the U.S. players that much time on the ball, they are going to pick you apart with efficiency. And it's a perfect look at it.
For Samantha Ewis, her 19th international goal. Assist going to Lindsey Horan and Megan Rapinoe on this left side. It is Robledo sending it inside, and now it's headed away by Dunn. Horan will pick it back up. Push to the back. Sauerbrunn from Dahlkemper. Horan will move it to the outside. Crystal Dunn will be playing for Portland when the season starts. So will Becky Sauerbrunn. A lot of trades during the NWSL offseason. Some of them were made to get players closer to family.
And again, JP, we're seeing that diagonal into the opposite side 10. It's a space the U.S. looks to take advantage of, and Colombia's struggling to pick it up right now.
Dunn high upfield, into the box. They were looking for Lloyd. It'll fall to O'Hara. Gives up the shot. U.S. right side. Williams. O'Hara can't get a shot off. Colombia scrambling, and Sepulveda got that at the near post. That was a scramble in front. It's already bad enough that Colombia's given up an early goal, Ali, but for their sake, they can't afford to give up 2 quick ones this early.
No, and it's going to take a lot of discipline. If the U.S. does get into those situations, into those positions around the 18, they have to stay with the players and mark up in the box, because the cutback ball is on against Colombia, at least in the games that I've seen.
Look at this from U.S. to Williams. And Sepulveda anticipated that well. Colombia talked about working more in their possession. They'll need some of it here to kind of slow the U.S. down.
Well, it's early, but already, JP, you're noticing that they are taking their time trying to slow the game down when they do have possession.
But now can they keep it? Nope. The U.S. won it. They try to counter quickly. Williams slotting it through. Carly Lloyd. O'Hara on the overlap. 3 players went towards her, and And that one was crossed out. O'Hara also has a new team. She'll play for the Washington Spirit when the NWSL season starts again. They expect to start their season in May, but first they'll have another Challenge Cup scheduled for April. Sepulveda, she's the one that's really taking her time with this. Lewis got a piece that time of Salazar. And now the foul on the U.S. Sam Lewis. Sam's doing well for both club and country. 6 goals in 16 games playing for Manchester City, including a big goal in an FA Cup final win.
And I think she's enjoying being higher up on the field for Man City. She says she plays a similar position there that she does here for the U.S.
And she's not alone. Look at all the players that are playing now in Europe. That's so different. It's kind of like on the men's side now, Ali, we're seeing a lot of big clubs now. It's not just Christian Pulisic, it's Weston McKennie, it's so many others. And now we're seeing it on the women's side.
And it's what you want. It's everything that we as players have pushed for. It's more opportunity in the women's game to go abroad, to stay home, have more competition, compete with the NWSL to try to be the best, force the NWSL to be better, force these teams to step up, you know, across the pond and here. I think it's great for the women's game.
Me too. Win-win. Here's Lloyd. Kept it in at the end line. It's blocked. Colombia back on it on this right side. Ibarguen, and that is another foul on the U.S. Call it the other way. Foul on Pavi. Megan Rapinoe will take this free kick from the far sideline.
I really think the U.S. has advantages on set pieces against Colombia. They've got the height advantage. You can just see right there, Sam Lewis, even Kelly O'Hara is taller than her mark. And they have the ability to lose them.
Rapinoe will launch this one. The header right at goal. Horan was right there. She's one of their frequent targets. Julie Ertz is another.
And wide open at that. I mean, no one on her. Acres of space right there. She cannot get near or far. Unfortunate for her, it goes right to Sepulveda.
And Williams denied there. And Velasquez was fouled that time by Lynn Williams. Williams led the U.S. last year with 6 assists. Also had 3 goals in Olympic qualifying. Making a claim for herself to get more minutes under Vlatko Andonovski.
She is definitely one of those players. I remember when Vlatko got hired, you know, we talked about who was going to benefit from this transition, and she's been one of the players that has gotten more minutes, more starts under him.
Second all-time leading goal scorer. Only Sam Kerr has more goals in the NWSL than Lynn Williams. A 1-0 lead for the United States over Colombia here in the 11th minute. Limited capacity. You can see fans in the stands wearing masks. We're told that they could sell no more than 4,000 tickets in this 25,000 plus facility. Dahlkemper will push it across to Sauerbrunn. Return, got it from Horan. Intended for Mewis, cut off. Salazar dropping it back. Velasquez, oh, that's dangerous. Picked off, too fancy there. Cleared by Colombia. Ibarguen. Lost it to Horan. Good work by Lindsey Horan coming back. Dahlkemper. Right up the middle. Ertz. Dunn. Left sideline. Rapinoe. Back for Crystal Dunn. Lewis, that was too easy. Wide open. Now they pick her up.
A really good regain shape from the U.S. With Kelly O'Hara pitched in, she's able to win that back, albeit not for long.
Safely back to Sepulveda. Daniela Arias lets it go. Clearance by Sepulveda. She believes Cup coming back. It'll be on our air. Blanco and Nalowski's side set to face Canada, Brazil, and Japan. You can catch all 3 matches live on FS1. It all starts February the 18th. Lloyd was looking for that ball, almost got to her. Ooh, hard challenge from O'Hara. Still down is Velasquez. Play continues. Ball moved to the left sideline. Slips it to Rapinoe, pulling it back. Help is coming. It's done. Right-footed shot too high.
And here's a look at the hard challenge with O'Hara on Velasquez. Both go to ground early. And then Velasquez maybe selling it a bit.
Let's bring in Dr. Joe Magnick, Fox Sports rules analyst.
Yeah.
What'd you think, Doc? Aggressive challenge?
Well, when you see 2 players go to the ground early like that, it's tough to call a foul on either one of them. But from an officiating point of view, in the middle of the field there, trying to keep the game under control, I'd like to see a free kick given, and I think the USA deserved one there as well.
Thank you, Doctor. Here's Williams shooting it. Saved by Sepulveda. That was big. Keeping the scoreline still respectable at 1-0 down for Colombia. O'Hara, nice cut. They're converging on her. Now the header stopped by Sepulveda. That's 2 headers that have been right at Sepulveda, that time by Lloyd.
And that's one of the things that Carly Lloyd brings as your 9. Strong presence in the box on service from wide areas.
Allie, Colombia's scrambling, though, defensively. That time when O'Hara had the ball, 3 players went to her. Somebody else is wide open.
Yeah, 3 players, but none really even got close enough to make a challenge, right? So, first of all, you've got to figure out your pressure scheme. She beats the first defender. Cover wasn't close enough to get meaningful pressure. And they did a nice job, actually, at that back post because really Lloyd was one of the presence in there that was a threat, and they doubled her up. I don't know if they bodied her enough, though, so she did get a clean header. Not enough to score in the end.
Let's talk Carly Lloyd. She's 38. She'll be 39 when the Olympics comes. But is she like, she's the most fittest player, certainly from that age, right? Is she like a Tom Brady? Like everyone marvels at her. She still looks like much younger.
Okay, again, she's an Aaron Rodgers to me, all right? You can say Tom Brady,
I'm
it's
Brady
tomato,
guy,
tomato. I am Rodgers.
All right.
All day, every day.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've never seen her look so fit. She posted some photos on Instagram, and, I mean, she was jacked.
Yeah.
So I think she is in her prime. She's figuring out, or I would say her prime physically, you know, and to be able to withstand the rhythm of, you know, game, 2 days off, game. We don't know that answer yet, but she certainly looks the part.
And nobody's going to sell her short. Down this left side, Rapinoe.
No, what she brings is the ability to be that false 9, to pop off the back line, back to goal presence. That's a different look. You know, you think of Alex Morgan, she wants to run in behind.
With this being the first game of a calendar year, you wonder how long Lloyd will go tonight, how long Rapinoe will go tonight. The original plan was for Rapinoe to probably go 45 and then see what happens, maybe more minutes on the weekend. But these players want to play, and they know the competition is tough, and they're trying to prove that they belong in the next Olympics. Shorter roster, tough cuts coming up. No matter who gets cut, right? No matter who gets cut.
Exactly. And the reality is you don't want to give any other players a sniff. You don't want to open that door. Because, you know, the age factor will go against you. The idea that this team wants to develop for the next World Cup, you know, all of that factors into the decision that ultimately goes into that Olympic roster.
Usme lays it off on the left. Velasquez pass clipped away, then it's done, heading it down. Colombia recovers, it's just behind Romero. Picked up by O'Hara. Williams. Colombia will get it back. Salazar's pass. Catalina Usme blocked. U.S. will recover. Williams. 4 players high upfield. Colombia scrambling to get back. Knocked away, but right to Ertz. Squares it. Horan fires it, but it's right at goal. So the U.S. has had some looks, but those final plays, Ali, that final shot not there.
Yeah, and usually that is the case in January. So it was the last piece to come.
Horan towards Rapinoe's side. Megan. The legs got tangled up. Rapinoe said corner. Referee says goal kick. Good to see Rapinoe back. Good to see Lloyd back. It's been a long time. She believes Cup was the last time we saw them playing. That was last February. Neither played in either the Challenge Cup for the NWSL or the Fall Series. They opted out of those competitions and were not a part of that Netherlands squad either.
No, and it's a good balance with those 2 plus Lynn Williams up top. Rapinoe wants to tuck inside, provide space for Dunn to get forward. She can play combinations with Horan, Dunn. Those rotations are very fluid between those 3. And then with Lloyd popping off the back line, more back to goal presence, and a Lynn Williams who can stretch the opposition in transition. Very different profiles for your front 3, but a nice balance overall for the U.S.
Throw in for Crystal Dunn. As much as we talk about Dunn's versatility, she's been primarily a left back for this U.S. team in the last couple of tournaments. With her club team, Carolina, she played higher up the field, and who knows where she'll play in Portland. Sauerbrunn for Horan. Another player plays for the Portland Thorns. Headed forward, Mewis on the move. Sam Mewis getting it, the cross. Far post, Rapinoe chasing it down. It's going to be out for a corner, last touch by Ibarguen. One of the best free kick and corner kick takers in the business, Megan Rapinoe, will take this.
And Colombia only has a near post zoner. The back post is wide open if you can get that flick there.
Rapinoe goes near post, 1 flick, and then it's cleared, but not out of danger. O'Hara settles. The cross in. Too high. Williams just got a slight touch on it. Sepulveda again will manage the clock a little bit here. Ali, what's your takeaway of the first 20 minutes?
That Sepulveda might have the most touches of anyone on the Colombian side. I mean, look, I think Colombia hasn't figured out their pressure scheme. I think it's been too easy for the U.S. to dictate proceedings, you know, but the U.S. right now is just finding their way around the 18. It hasn't been as efficient as I'm sure Vlaco or the team would like. You know, from the flip side with Colombia, I was excited to see the young Robledo on the left side, but she hasn't had much of the ball. Uzme's had no impact. And those are players that they need to have the ball in order to relieve some of the pressure the U.S. is going to put them under.
This coach, Nelson Abadia, came in a bit shorthanded, using only domestic players. It's not a part of the international window. So at least 4 starters are out. And then 4 other players not dressing tonight. They didn't test positive for COVID, but they were kept out for precautionary reasons. They had some low-risk contact with a staff person who did test positive. If these players test negative, we're told that they could play on Friday in that second game. But better to be safe than sorry, so the 4 players were kept out. That obviously didn't help Colombia's chances tonight. Nair will push it forward. Here's a look at what the U.S. has coming up. Could be a busy summer, even before the Olympics, Ali. She believes Cup will be big, and then these are just the FIFA windows. They could schedule a game like this or 2 on their own.
And the challenge might be to find opponents. Here's the clip on Dunn from behind. She does so well just to cut across the recovery path of Pavi. That earns her the foul. But it does slow down the U.S.'s transition.
And the first booking goes to Pavi. U.S. will have a free kick. 23rd minute, a 1-0 lead on a goal by Sam Ewis. Her 19th international goal came early in the 5th minute. And right after that, the U.S. had 2 or 3 other chances, but put shots right at Sepulveda. Battle for the ball, far sideline. Colombia will come away. Cotto escaped and then got fouled. Foul on Lindsay Horan, who was tied last year for most goals on the team with 7 with Kristen Press, and 6 of those goals came in Olympic qualifying. She had a great tournament. Press, one of those, absent, along with Tobin Heath and Alex Morgan. Morgan out due to COVID-19 protocols. Expected back soon. Tobin Heath and Kristen Press stayed back home. Their teams were playing in some games. They did not have to come because it's not an international window. Here's O'Hara. The cross. Oh, 2 players were kind of waiting for that. Let the other one take it, and neither one got it. That's the unselfish attitude, right? Let somebody else. Somebody else had a better go at it. Nobody did. Open is Robledo. She admitted to having some nerves yesterday. Don't know if she knew she'd be in the starting 11 or not when she said it, but she said she's looking at this game as an opportunity against the mighty U.S. But in fairness to Robledo, Allie, they don't have much possession, so it's hard for her to get the ball.
No, and that was one of the keys to the game from their coach, Nelson.
Bad spot for a foul there against the U.S. That's Pavi, too, and she's already got a yellow. And she gets a bit of a warning from Karen Apt.
And here's a good look at it. Rapinoe just shifts that across her body. Really smart play. Pavi bites. And this was one of the things coming into the match that was a red flag for me for Colombia, is the ability of the U.S. to draw fouls, but Colombia to willingly concede them in these dangerous areas. And Horan was wide open on the last one. We'll see if anyone picks her up this time around.
Rapinoe is ready, but Karen Apt, the referee, sees something, so we'll hold off for a second. Now, played, oh, that was the design play, but it just didn't work. Wasn't executed, but Dunn was open. So we're all expecting that long ball, Allie, off the free kick, and we got the short one.
Yeah, and look, I mean, those are decisions that the players have the freedom to make. I think against a Colombian side, you can take advantage of the height advantage you have. But if this is about growing towards the future, I can see why you might try to play one of those different free kick wrinkles.
Ewis. Sauerbrunn. Abby Dahlkemper. Here's the USA captain on it. Wide left. Horan's on the chase. Ibargin was there. Couldn't win it. Horan could. The cross. Sepulveda missed. Williams first on it. Flick in front. Colombia needed to do a better job on the clearance. O'Hara kept it alive for Williams. Back to O'Hara. Near the end line. She'll bring it out. Dahlkemper. Big cross. Header by Lloyd. Again, though, right at Sepulveda.
Yeah, and the better option of this for Lloyd might have been just to knock that back across to Lynn Williams, and Sam Ewis are sneaking in at the far post. It's a really good ball, though, from Abby Dahlkemper. Lloyd is sitting between 2 defenders. She's got time to rise up. But in the end, it goes to Sepulveda.
Carly Lloyd getting closer and closer to 300 caps. Only 2 other players in U.S. national team history have done that. Christine Lilly, Christy Rampon.
And you just would likely think, I mean, this is the last generation that is going to hit the 300 cap mark.
Yeah, for sure. For a lot of reasons, right? They're not playing as many games, perhaps, and the competition, right?
Yep. More turnover, more development of younger players, and that's the way it should be. But an amazing feat nonetheless.
Yeah. This team was used to playing since 2009, averaging about 22 or so games a year. So 9 games last year was nothing for them, but it's 9 more than Colombia played. That's the difference. Even in a down year, the U.S. got to play some games. Granted, a lot of those were early until COVID struck big, struck hard. Rapinoe, the pass inside. They're looking for Lloyd, who was taken down. Catalina Usme. U.S. pressure. Immediately they win it back. And that's what they've been doing pretty much all night. As soon as they lose it, they fight to get it back. And that's why Colombia has had very few pass completions. Nice move, Rapinoe, low shot. Off the post.
And part of that, JP, with the U.S. regaining so high is their pressure, but part of it also is just a lack of awareness from Colombia. I've seen a few players be in space where they can turn, and they're just being conservative with their touches. Usme gets dispossessed. You can see 4 players around her from the United States, and Rapinoe says, why not? And even though Julie Ertz doesn't make that challenge, she forces Usme to have the long touch, and then U.S. regains and gets an opportunity.
Just off the outside of that post for Rapinoe, who picks it up here. Cutting it back to the right foot. Finding Dunn. Mewis open again. Sam Mewis will lay it off. Rapinoe's cross. Lloyd! That time it was on frame, and Sepulveda came up big. And may have hurt herself in the process.
And go figure, yeah, this was one of the more challenging opportunities for Carly Lloyd. At first, she's wide open. I mean, in the box, no one on her. And still not a lot of pressure arrives, but it's a diving header just to get on the end of that. Sam Mewis makes the right decision. It's crowded centrally. Rapinoe's wide open. They've got big, expansive shape. Play her. She can play that first-time ball across. And there's the diving head and the necessary touch.
The landing was rough on Sepulveda. She did make the save. The backup goalkeeper, if they need her tonight, is a 17-year-old Natalia Giraldo. They also have Valentina Gonzalez. She's 18, so 2 teenagers in backup roles. This is a game, though, Ali, I would think for a veteran, because you can see the way Sepulveda is holding on to the ball. She's trying to waste some time. She's trying to be in control. And I would think she's got a calmness to her that I don't know about the teenagers.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's a really, really good point, JP. As much as you can dictate from that goalkeeper position, I think Sepulveda is doing a nice job for her team.
U.S. only has 1 goal. It's a nice one from Sam Mewis, her 19th international goal, and it came very early, Ali, for the U.S.
It really did, and you can see how much space Rapinoe had to run onto that ball. And then Sam Mewis alone in the 18. Simple ball laid across, and then just open the foot up and slide that one home.
2 perfect passes, one from Horan, the second one from Rapinoe.
And that's what the U.S. can do to you. I mean, under tremendous amounts of pressure, but if you don't even put a whiff of pressure on them, I mean, it's all the much easier for them. And that's just a challenge for Colombia. This team, like you said, JP, they haven't even played since 2019. They had 10 days of training coming into this match.
Nelson Abadia spoke to us yesterday, talked about the culture, the style of play that he wants his team to have, and his players seem to back that up, that they know how they want to play, and now they obviously need reps, though, Ali. I mean, you can train all you want, but in this case, they're only getting 10 days, but you got to have some games.
Right, and they talked about developing their league from within Colombia as well.
Yeah, they've got that going. That's a plus. They want to make that stronger, and they've got some players playing abroad too. That helps. They're again not here with them tonight. Crossed by Haran. Lloyd played as a pass, second goal. Another from Mewis. To another U.S.
And much like the earlier opportunity for Lloyd, she finds herself wide open again. 16 is keeping her onside, and this time she just nods it back across to Sam Mewis instead of going to goal herself, and then it's just a tap in for Mewis. Nice little third-man combination there between Rapinoe, Ertz, and Haran. They've been working that left side incredibly well, and then Sam Mewis just squeaks her way into the box, and Lloyd puts it on a platter for her.
That should be a second assist as well for Lindsey Haran. So Mewis comes up big again with her 20th international goal.
And what did she tell us yesterday, JP? She said, I want to work on my final pass and my final shot selection. I think she'll be happy, 2-0, 33 minutes in.
She scored 4 goals in Olympic qualifying with 2 two-goal games. She has another 2-goal game. We're only in the first half. Williams. High cross. Headed, but not out. Settled by Rapinoe. Has Haran. Edge of the box. Low ball in is blocked. Colombia trying to move it out. That was too dangerous. Too sloppy. Mewis got it and then lost it. At this point, if you're Colombia, why not just launch a ball to get it out of there?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, when I've watched them play in the past, they usually do try to pinpoint that 9 with more direct play and then run off of her.
We're playing right into the USA's path, though, the way they're going. Here's Williams. O'Hara. A sliding tackle there. And then it's knocked out for a throw-in. I mean, when the short passing game is not working, Ali, why not try to find another option and then get settled defensively?
2 things. Balance is always key, to your point. But I also think, you know, if this is something Colombia is trying to work on and that's possessing out of a tremendous amount of pressure, it could bode well for them in the future.
2 players involved in that. Neither one gets called for a foul. Played forward by Salazar. Cotto. She had a player open. U.S. back on the front foot. Julie Ertz. Sam Mewis. U.S. Soccer Player of the Year last year. Williams blocked. Right to Williams. Right to Mewis. That's blocked by Sepulveda. Rapinoe. And that's wide. All the pressure on Sepulveda. Can Colombia get out of this half? Only down by a couple of goals. And another player down. You wonder about stoppage time. There was some added on with Sepulveda down. Karabali in her debut is feeling this. Karabali is 23 years of age, so that's not that young for a first cap. Ibarguen is only 18, getting her first cap tonight. The player I'd like to see off the bench at some point tonight, Ali, is Linda Caicedo. She scored a goal in her debut at the age of 14. She's 15 now, won't be 16 till February. I watched one of her goals on video, and it was pretty
Figured
amazing.
out how to do that, huh?
It was, yeah, I did. Yes, I did. I know, sometimes I'm technically challenged. Alexi tells me that all the time. Sometimes I surprise myself. Looking to go forward for one of the rare times is Colombia. Robledo's pass. Usme. It was too risky for Romero. The U.S. is able to get it. but there was a whistle before it. As we move into the new year, U.S. Soccer has released guidelines for indoor soccer as part of its Play On campaign, which provides recommendations on returning to play safely during COVID-19 for all soccer coaches, players, parents, and referees. For more information, go to ussoccer.com/playon. Free kick for Caro off of that last foul on the U.S. 38th minute. U.S. up 2-0. Both goals by Sam Mewis. Jessica Caro played on that Pan American winning side in 2019. She's 32. Club team America de Cali. Floats one up. U.S. won that one in the air. They'll win a majority of those. Arabali forward. That's blocked. Settled, and the U.S. comes away. Mewis leads it. Rapinoe. Nice play by Caro. Otherwise, Rapinoe would have been free on that side. Ibarguen. Caro. Salazar. Velasquez. That's knocked out of play. Velasquez played collegiately in the U.S. for Indiana University, 2009 to 2012. She's 31. Plays for Junior now. Was on the Olympic team in 2016. Out for a U.S. throw-in. This Colombia side has been in a couple of World Cups and also 2 Olympics, but they did not qualify for the last World Cup or the Olympics. So that's part of Nelson Abadia's mission, to get them back there. He's getting in some younger players, working on that. And the stronger their domestic league gets, and the more players that probably go abroad to play, and the more games they can play as a country, can only help them. The Usme pass. Robledo. First touch failed there. Mewis on the move. 40th minute. Fouled from behind. Romero will also be booked. Second yellow card. Both to Colombia.
And it's a smart tackle by Romero, because the U.S. would be off and running. Tactical in the end and deserved the yellow. But Sam Mewis, I mean, that's one of the things she brings to this U.S. midfield, is the ability to drive forward, to gain green for the U.S. And because Colombia's been pinned in, we haven't seen it much, but in those transition moments, it comes to light.
Ertz free kick from distance. That one's headed away. Ibarguen is chasing it. Will get there first. Clears it up the wing, but it's out of play. 41st minute, 2 goals by Sam Mewis, the difference in this game. The Sauerbrunn pass for Dahlkemper. Dahlkemper led the team last year in minutes played. Also led them during the World Cup in terms of field players. Possession lopsided in the USA's favor. Rapinoe. O'Hara was calling for it. Finally gets to her. Williams. O'Hara. Ertz. Horan. A lot of touches in small spaces there for the U.S. And again, they win it back. Mewis, this time out wide. The turn by Horan, slotting it in. Lloyd looking to move. It's loose. And Sepulveda has it somewhere. An active first half, wouldn't you say, for Carly Lloyd, Alan?
Yeah, as it should be, with the U.S. continuing to apply pressure in this 18. And Lindsey Horan does so well there just to spin her defender. She overcommits, and now she can turn towards the central area. And then Lloyd can't end up can't put that in the back of the net. But I'm looking at how the U.S. is taking advantage of the 2 defensive mids, the 2 6s for Colombia. Those are 2 players that don't typically play there. They don't have their captain. And the U.S. is really dominating in that vicinity, whether it's close to the 18 or in these little pockets right here.
Ertz finds Haran. Dunn. U.S. has done a good job of spreading the ball around in this first half, involving everyone. Williams blocked. O'Hara will keep it in play right in front of Colombia's bench. Ertz, right time to go forward. Williams, cross, left there. Dunn, knocked away. It's still loose. Wide on that last challenge. Flag may have been up too here in the 43rd minute. U.S. gets close again. So Pulvita will put it back into play. She's been busy in this opening half. Off her left foot. Off Lloyd. Salazar gets away from traffic. That was well done. Salazar pass ahead. Usme, and it's behind Velasquez. Sepulveda was going to come off her line, changed her mind, but no harm done. Velasquez, high pressure there again from the U.S. Cotto, blocked by O'Hara. Ertz. Rapinoe's pass. Lloyd will take it. Lloyd muscles her way into the box. And then, is that shoulder to shoulder? Carly Lloyd thought it was more. That was dangerous. But Sepulveda will eliminate that danger. Carney's going to ask the referee why that was not a penalty kick.
Well, the U.S. did well to regain it. Rapinoe was more central. She's the one who ended up finding Lloyd, and then you can see the bump from Karabali. I wouldn't give it. In this game, I wouldn't give it in a World Cup final.
Would you said it would not in the World Cup final?
I would not.
Okay. Well, that's pretty clear then, I would say. That's emphatic. Ertz. Even go didn't work. U.S. We're in stoppage time. 2-0 U.S. lead as Crystal Dunn has it. Dunn again. Usme has to clear this ball. Too lax in the touch. U.S. continuing to spread it around. It's Ertz wide. O'Hara. Curling ball in. Took a deflection. Off the post. And Colombia will just boot it out. Ertz with a throw-in. Getting it back from U.S. and then U.S. was cut off there. Then Williams. Ball stays in play. Usme. Well, they allowed that to go on. Continue. It's a U.S. throw, and they've got it. That was interesting. Here is Sauerbrun's pass. Now Dunn. Dunn continues to run. Broken up and then cleared away. First half coming to a close, Ali, as Colombia takes off on his right side. Get your thoughts on this first half when we can. Pino on it. How've they looked?
I think it's what we expected. I think this U.S. is dominating Colombia. I think they've actually been really dominant on that left side. As it floats over there now to Rapinoe. Combination of Haran and Dunn. I mean, they're having their way with those young first cappers on the back line. The rotations are confusing them.
End line for Haran, and that should be it. That is it First half is coming to a close. Sam Mewis, the star, one of the stars with 2 goals. Lindsey Horan, by our count anyway, has both assists of the goals. Rapinoe with an assist and Lloyd as well. Sarah Walsh, Heather O'Reilly, and Alexi Lalas in studio when we come back.
A beautiful evening in Orlando and a pretty start for the United States in their first match of the year, up 2-0 on Colombia here at the break. We welcome you back inside our studios here in Los Angeles. Sarah Walsh alongside Heather O'Reilly and Alexi Lalas. Let's take a look at how the scoring got started for the U.S. team. Their first match of 2021 didn't take very long for them to find in the back of the net, Alexi.
Look, we can preface these highlights by saying that Colombia is not a great team, but it doesn't take anything away from the beauty of this goal. How about this? Wonderful timing and composure. Look at this. Bring this down. Just wait, just wait, just wait. Horan just puts it perfectly through. Now everything slows down for Megan Rapinoe. She just puts it right on a platter from Mewis to finish it. Oh, so pretty, so pretty.
The goal celebration, Heather O'Reilly says, needs some little work still.
Needs some work, but it's only January. They got a long time to get that right. The second goal also came down this left-hand side, this time with Lindsey Horan popping out, playing a nice ball across. Carly Lloyd makes the unselfish and tactically smart decision to knot it across the frame of the goal. When you do that, good things happen. the tower of power. Sam Ewis is there to not at home.
Yeah, what we're not seeing is plenty of close calls. Some almost goals that happened in this first half. And those were the pretty finishes, but we want to point out, especially you wanted to show how some of these are getting started, specifically the things that Abby Dahlkemper's doing.
Well, Colombia's not putting a ton of pressure on these U.S. players, but one player in particular that's staying very poised and making the correct choices with her possession is Abby Dahlkemper. This is how the goal gets started. She had a lot of entry balls into midfield, which breaks the lines for Colombia and allows the U.S. to maintain possession. Here she is seeing Lynn Williams pop into that pocket and then get Kelly O'Hara in behind. And Becky Sauerbrunn and Abby Dahlkemper, although not a difficult outing for them today, are really doing a great job setting play.
Biggest takeaway from this first half, Alexi?
I mean, everybody was good and did what they needed to do. I do think that Lynn Williams at times looked a little uncomfortable in that wide type of position that she takes up, but that would be nitpicking. And you know, in general, they're doing exactly what they need to do.
The year's still young.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
saying to get to the nitpicking. Someone that's looked very comfortable, Sam Ewis, on target twice tonight. This was her first goal as the U.S. opened their account in 2021. The Americans cruising against Colombia. Second half still to come.
Imagine if Chris, as a kid, was never given a baseball, Shannon a helmet, or a football. Big Poppy, a bat. What if there were no cleats for heaven? How many future stars will never shine if they don't have the equipment to play with? Access to sports and play has been limited, but you can help keep our kids in the game. Text PLAY to the number on your screen and help us restore play.
Heather O'Reilly starring that. What made you get involved with that initiative?
Well, guys, we all know that this is a really challenging time across our country and the world, but the mental health of young people, of young athletes, cannot be underappreciated. All the physical benefits that come from playing a game, the mental, the social, this is all really important to children, and it's so fantastic to see a campaign like this committing to making sure that they get the gear that they need to keep playing.
By the way, that enthusiasm we saw when Heather scored that goal, that's what she does when the show's over. Every night when she walks off the set, same amount of enthusiasm out of here. The U.S. women playing their first match of 2021. They've got a 2-0 halftime lead over Colombia. The second 45 minutes coming up next. FS1's coverage is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. The U.S. women back on our air next month when they take part in the She Believes Cup. All 3 games live here on FS1. Tonight, the U.S. facing Colombia. JP and Allie have the second half call.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, Allie, we were hearing before that we would see Macario at some point and that Rapinoe would probably only play 45. That's happening. What do you think about the impending debut of Catarina Macario?
I'm excited. I mean, this is a player that we've all hoped would be sanctioned by FIFA to come into the U.S. team. And look, I saw her play a ton at Stanford. She's got a great ability in the center of the park. So I'm curious, with Pino coming out, does that actually mean that things shift around? Because I would have thought a Sophia Smith would have been the likely replacement for Rapinoe. Macario usually a 10 or maybe a false 9. We'll see if the U.S. alters things a bit. But this is a player that is really, really crafty around the 18, someone that can open things up. I think what the U.S. did well on the 2 goals they scored in the first half was they made that extra pass. So Macario is a player that will make that extra pass. Macario is a player that can break down the opposition when it is tight in and around the 18. So I like the sub, and I'm curious to see how she handles it.
She looks like she's ready to go, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's had an interesting, 10 days or so? We already knew she had her citizenship, but she needed the FIFA clearance. She did get that. The team wasn't sure when she was going to get it. Then she decides to turn professional, signs with Lyon, and tonight she will make her international debut.
Talk about a week to remember.
So Macario for Rapinoe. They don't normally play that same spot, but we'll see. Macario, as Ali had mentioned, was more of a false 9 in training. If she's nervous, Ali, she's not showing that. Much anticipated debut. Ever since we knew she could become a U.S. citizen, we've been waiting to see her. Wait no more. Colombia have also made a change, we're told, but we'll get that for you in a moment. As the second half is underway with the U.S. leading by a 2-0 score. Looking to add to it, and a penalty. With Moran going down. Tough way to start the second half for Colombia.
And not a surprise. I mean, the U.S. has done this since World Cup, since pre-World Cup, where they go direct off the kickoff. They get the flick. They've got the runners now, and Lindsey Horan, she gets the touch before, again, the young player in Carabali.
Sam Mewis looking for the hat trick. She's had a few 2-goal games in her career, looking for a 3-goal game with this against Sepulveda. Mewis, hat trick.
And it's just a cool penalty by Mewis. She sends Sepulveda the wrong way, opens up and side foots that into the corner. Really well taken, cool, calm, composed, and that's a hat trick, as you said, JP, for Sam Mewis. First one I've witnessed.
Awful. Free kick here for Colombia. Linda Caicedo, number 20, has come into the game. And that's the 15-year-old that we were talking about before. So while the U.S. was waiting for Macario's debut, Colombia has been waiting to see Caicedo. It's not her first game. It'll be her 6th. But we haven't seen her in a while since Colombia hasn't been playing. U.S. will have a throw-in. Romero, the player that left, was one of 2 players on a yellow card. Pavi's the other. So the U.S. already off to a better start this half than they had in the first half when they scored early. That was in the 5th minute. Dunn going forward, that's blocked. No fouls given there. Cotto. And Usme couldn't control it. All the way back to Sepulveda. If you're keeping score at home, I was giving Horan a couple of assists, but I'm going by MLS rules. I apologize for that. No second assists. But she has had a hand in the first 2 goals, and her play led to her 3rd goal for Sam Mewis. So she's been a big factor, but she won't show up yet on the score sheet. Here's Horan. Macario. Couple of touches, a little confidence here. Macario thinking about it. And now plays it wide. Lindsey Horan. The cross. Headed it way in a bad spot right up the middle. O'Hara kept it alive. Shot blocked. It'll be a USA corner kick.
And the U.S. just keeps targeting that back post of Colombia. While it's been on frequently, I'd like to see them change up that final service. I think you can play the cutback ball. I think you can catch them near post.
So Macario is going to take this corner like Rapinoe was doing when she was in the first half. But we'll see where Macario ends up playing here in the second half.
Well,
and what other changes, too, that the U.S. might make.
It looked like she was in that left wing position, but you can already see that she wants to come inside the same way Rapinoe does. She's going to be more comfortable filtering in. That'll continue to give Dunn space.
Played 3 years at Stanford, left a year early. Put up for grabs, headed away. Settled, O'Hara chipping it back in. U.S. tried to stay onside. O'Hara off a block. Mewis was fighting for it. Sam Mewis with all 3 goals. Brilliant night for her. And the night's still going. Cotto. By the way, in this international friendly, you can use as many as 6 subs, and we would think that both teams would probably get to that. There are players that Vlatko Andonovski, head coach of the U.S., would like to look at, and also how many players could easily go 90 minutes in this first game. Judging by what Vlatko said yesterday, with everyone being in shape, maybe they all can, Allie, but it might be a tough ask. Ertz. Williams.
No need to risk it this early in the year.
Horan pulling it back. Kept it low. Crystal Dunn got free. Dunn, low cross, denied. Salazar couldn't clear it out. Horan. Dunn from 22 out. White puts it in. That's headed away. Horan strikes wide. U.S. with that 3-0 lead. They made just that one change at halftime, as did Colombia. Ertz. 27 in this camp roster, but they're only dressing 18 for each of these 2 games. So 9 players sitting out tonight for the U.S. Here's Williams. Blocked. Macario fights for it. Still loose, blocked by Mewis. Macario. And they held her back as Sepulveda pounces on it. The club side will be Lyon, who have been probably the most famous club side in women's soccer, certainly in the world, with all of the Champions League titles that they've won and also the French leagues. They're just behind Paris Saint-Germain now, but at the end of the year, they might be right back up there.
Yeah, and part of her decision to go abroad was the resources that they had. She felt they could help take her to that next level. Competition within training and facilities, staff, and a new experience post-college.
Off the chest of Lloyd. Looking for Macario. Fighting for it. May have fought too much. She told us in the phone conversation the other day that her heart was still at Stanford. Would love to have played another year, but because of COVID and the protocols there and the sanctions, that didn't look like she was going to be able to play, so she decided to turn pro. And she said it was nothing against the NWSL. It was not a money decision for her, rather a change of culture, and said that one day she does hope to play in the NWSL. And who knows, could it be Portland or Seattle, I should say, because Seattle is owned by Olympic Lyon.
Way to bring it around.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's great. There's no one path for any of these players. Everyone is unique and individual, and they're going to be spurred on by different things.
Salazar, as high up the field as she has come so far tonight. Pushed it wide on that left side, and it's going to go out of play. Throw in here for Colombia. Off the block, it's going to go out. See Nancy Acosta out there. She was not given as a sub, so we'll have to check on that. 23 for Colombia. Off a block there. Headed forward towards Lloyd. That was Acosta on that challenge. USA will have it again. O'Hara will go back the other way. It's been a quiet night as expected for Lissonaire. The ball's hardly been deep in U.S. territory. Nowhere near the 18-yard box.
Yeah, 0 touches, right?
Yeah. Here's Dunn. That cross. Player down. Play continues. Williams dishes for O'Hara. Headed away. Cleared by Acosta. A Dahlkemper throw-in for Becky Sauerbrunn. A 3-0 U.S. lead. Early goals in each half, and all 3 goals by Sam Ewis. Macario moving it left. Horan will try to close her down. Easier said than done. In for Horan. Curling ball was wide on the setup by Macario.
And this was just a few minutes ago. It's a nice ball in by Dunn, and you can see Lloyd goes to ground there. I think she's marked by Arias. Turns the corner and gets tripped up. Hard to see if that's a penalty or not. But on the previous play, I mean, really loved what Macario did there. She talked about when you go to the professional level, one of the first things that has to change is speed of play, speed of thought. She got the ball wide open in space, no pressure on it, but she took one touch and quickly pinged it wide where she knew Horan had pulled out because she had come inside. And that kind of ball movement is really important against a side that may be sitting in these deeper blocks, and it makes it better or more easy to break down if you can move that ball quickly. And then she ends up getting the ball back, and they get an opportunity in the 18.
She is Brazilian-born, now a USA citizen, and not maybe just the future of this team, but she could be the present soon. It's her free kick from distance. They'll go short. Right sideline, O'Hara's cross. Off the chest of Lloyd, settles for Dunn. Dunn couldn't get a shot off. Blocked by Cotto. U.S. won it back, but then no foul. Either way, U.S. will get it back. Backpedaling was Ertz. Now it's O'Hara after it and knocked out by Caicedo. 58th minute, USA with a 3-0 lead. All 3 goals by Sam Mewis.
And the U.S. has to start recognizing that not everything is going to be called by Karen Apt in the 18. So you've got to try to stay on your feet.
Sam Mewis, first international hat trick. We mentioned the 2-goal games that she's had, but never a 3 until tonight. Her sister Christy is one of the available subs on the USA bench. Macario, it's up there, punched out by Sepulveda, off done. Settled by Sauerbrunn. Dahlkemper with the switch. Crystal Dunn did well to settle that ball. Lindsey Horan. Dunn. Converted forward. She played with the Washington Spirit. Horan sliding it in. Lloyd. Sepulveda's out. And Sepulveda did a terrific job. May have injured herself again in cutting down that angle. Brave play by the veteran keeper. Down for about the 3rd time tonight.
And it's Horan again who's playing that slip ball into the half space. It's so good. Well weighted. And Lloyd just can't turn the corner.
Well, we didn't know how long Lloyd would play tonight, but she's almost at 60 minutes.
True, and I think this was one of those games that, you know, all these players are under evaluation moving forward, and that bodes well for her.
Off done, in the air. A bargain was battling for it. Usme. U.S. with this 3-0 lead over Colombia. 7th meeting between these two sides. U.S. has won 5 of the 6 with 1 draw. Slid across by Velasquez. And it goes out, intended for Nancy Acosta. Acosta throw in. Velasquez battles. First corner for Colombia. And Usme, the veteran, will take it.
And we'll see if this becomes a transition moment for the U.S. Although it looks like Colombia's holding 3 back.
They go short to the 15-year-old, Linda Caicedo. Usme try to go near post. Will they get a second quarter out of it? They do. Carolina Usme. 2 goals in the Pan Am Games. Very experienced. Will send it to the middle. Nair got a fist to it. 1 was all she needed. Blocked by Macario, who clears. Ibarguen back after it. Getting it from Cotto. And now all the way back towards Sepulveda. Cotto playing a little bit deeper now, maybe to try to get some possession for her side. Confirmed that Acosta, when she came on, was for Pavi, so the Colombia changes were to both players that were on yellow cards. Here's Horan. Blocked there. Colombia gathers it in, looking to break out. Foul on Mewis. We're going to see some changes now for the U.S. Another Mewis is coming in, Christy Mewis. So Christy Mewis will come in for Lindsey Horan. Again, a good night for Horan. Factored really in all 3 goals. Christy Mewis, Sam's older sister, will replace her. And before you can ask if the 2 sisters will be playing together, there's your answer. Sam Mewis is coming out. Rose Lavelle, her teammate with Manchester City, is coming in.
Well, technically, Christy Mewis didn't come in for Sam, and you just got to wonder, is that to preserve the sisterly love?
Maybe.
But what a night it was for Sam Mewis. She was on fire, and it started early in the match. Rapinoe slides that ball across the back line. Sam Mewis gets on the end of it, and then here, an unselfish ball back across by Lloyd, and then the gift of a penalty. 3 goals, 3 touches in the box for Sam Mewis on those plays.
It's amazing when you think about it. 2 sisters on the national team. We had that earlier with Lori Fair and Ronnie Fair, but it obviously doesn't happen often, probably in any sport. But Christy Mewis is a great story. I mean, they were competitors, she said. Sam Mewis said, since they could walk. Christy Mewis said, right? They were always competing with one another, but they push and support each other and root for one another, even though one may be happier than another at some point in time, depending on how the roster moves.
And I don't have any stats to back it up, but I always feel like when you've got sisters or brothers that play the same sport, usually one's attacking, one's defensive. Not the case with them.
Off Lavelle. Good to see Rose back too in the USA jersey. Lavelle will lay it off. Had that fantastic World Cup and the goal against Netherlands in that final. A goal that people still talk about. 2 goals in 9 games, though, in all comps with Man City. Hasn't been used as well as we thought she might be, Allie.
And, you know, not being over there and watching closely, sometimes durability is an issue with Rose. And that's something the U.S. has to keep an eye on. Because she is like no other player on this roster.
U.S. corner. Again, it's Macario, and they'll go back. Del Kemper drives in. Lloyd right at goal. You know, on another night, Carly might have 3 goals, Allie.
Yeah, I think she's going to be frustrated again. I mean, Dahlkemper has been on point with her services tonight. That's one of the reasons they're going to utilize her on these set pieces. She brings that ball down nicely because it wasn't that clean from Macario topping up on her. And now she's got to ping this to the back post. Lloyd just sitting on it, waiting on it. Difficult ball, though, to redirect and get enough power and beat Sepulveda. That might have been another one that you could knock back across the frame and gift it to a teammate.
Another change. Reyes for Salazar. So another young player coming on, 18-year-old Maria Camila Reyes, plays for Llaneros in Colombia.
And I like this player. I think she's got really good feet in tight spots. Usually more of an attacking player than where Salazar has been playing. So we'll see if she slides into that 6 role or if things move around in the center park.
Here's Christy Mewis. Pushing it forward. That's going to be blocked. Mewis had a terrific goal against the Netherlands in that game in November. As did Lavelle. Robledo. Pushed back by Dunn. Help coming from Macario. They try to turn them over. And they're still trying. Lavelle was in. Macario wins it. Good teamwork. Mewis, give it go. Christy Mewis thinking about it. The shot is high and wide.
And think back, JP, to that game against Netherlands. Christy Mewis got her goal. Rose Lavelle, 2 10s in the U.S. system tonight. Mewis right now, one of the 10s, all 3 goals. We talked about the prominence of that role under Vlatko Adamowski evolving and becoming more of a focal point for this group, and I think we're seeing it not just in the build phase, but in the finished product.
Christy Mewis played under Vlatko Andonovski when he coached FC Casey in the earlier days of NWSL, so he knows that player very well. And Christy's had some tough luck with some injuries, but lately, Challenge Cup, Fall Series, etc., she was terrific. Robledo. It's blocked out of play. Colombia's ball, 69th minute. Same two teams will play again Friday in this stadium. Lavelle for Ertz. The flick denied. Karabali cleared it. The U.S. are right back on it. So much possession tonight. Ertz. Lavelle to the outside. The cross, Macario, and that's cleared. But again, Colombia not able to clear it out far enough. And the U.S. are right back at them. Sliding tackle there by Velasquez to Acosta. Linda Caicedo loses there. Ertz with a pickup.
It does look
70th
like
minute.
Reyes has moved up and Uzme has moved into a deeper role for Colombia.
Macario cutting, thinking about her own shot. Now takes it, it's deflected. Corner kick. She's got some confidence, I would say, Allie.
I knew you were going to say that. She looks so comfortable out there. Touches are clean, and she wants to have a go herself. Brings that one down, now sizes up the opponent. And this is what she's so good at. It's not just beating the first player, it's them beating that second and third player. And that happens when you slalom towards the center of the midfield. And tries to curl that one into the far post, but gets the deflection.
She'll get some minutes tonight, assuming she doesn't come out. She'll get 45 here, and who knows? Vlatko Andonovski told us the other day that he'd play his best 11 right now for this game, but then he might mix and match come Friday night. So who knows who else we'll see on the bench tonight. The backup goalkeeper was Jane Campbell. Emily Sonnet still there. Sophia Smith and Midge Purse. Played in, and the header was wide. That's the first look that Julie Ertz has had, right, with all of these corners. That's surprising. And here's another change.
And maybe it's just because they know it works.
Kelly O'Hara is going to come out. Midge Purse will come in. And now we've got Dunn's number up in Sonnet, so it'll be a double switch. So Dunn is out. Purse is in. So some players are getting a bit of a rest. We may see them again on Friday.
And I think a good night for both Dunn and O'Hara. Dunn was more instrumental, more impactful on the left side, but I think that's where a lot of the play for the U.S. came down.
Sonnet. So let's see where these players play. Sonnet can play wide or centrally. They could also change formation if they wanted to, but Purse is either really a right back or playing higher upfield. That's the first time a Colombian player has taken the ball that far on their own tonight.
And that's just a matter of transition. Both teams were a bit open. Lavelle gave the ball away cheaply. The U.S. could have had Colombia in transition, and there was space for Colombia once they regained it.
Robledo is the player that was fouled. 17-year-old will feel this one from Ertz.
And that's Ertz. You either get the ball or the player.
Had her 100th cap against England. It was in this stadium. Usme put it back into play. Off Reyes, back for Usme. Back into the Colombia half. Confirming our subs for you. Colombia will break it up. He bargains pass. She'll get it back from Robledo. Reyes, Robledo. U.S. back on it, but heavy touch. Throw in for Colombia.
And even though it's a heavy touch by her, I want to know how many times she has won the ball for the U.S. in midfield today. I mean, the regain she's had, she makes it look so effortless.
U.S. have made 5 changes here in the second half. So one more if they want to. Macario draws the foul. Free kick, U.S. 75th minute, first of 2 games against Colombia. Sauerbrunn pass goes across. Vidal Kemper. Sauerbrunn. This is the first time we saw Colombia try to press the USA defenders. And those are with 2 subs, so fresher legs maybe. That might be the only reason. Usme, clever chip ahead. Colombia will try that left side, and it's out.
JP, the first time we've seen them actually engage 2 on the front line to put both center backs under pressure. All night long, one of the center backs has had time to either pick and pass out or drive forward.
Guerra is going to be coming in for Velazquez for Colombia. And that would be a 4th sub for them. On this right side, the Williams cross, punched away by Sepulveda, who will reclaim it in the box. She's been the busiest player for Colombia for sure. Rose Lavelle, a little bit of juggling there, drew the foul. Colombia wants to sub, but it's not happening yet, and now it will. It's what we had told you. Guerra in, Velazquez out. This is a 17-year-old coming in. At the age of 17, she has played for the under-20s and has also played now for the full national team. This will be her 9th appearance at the senior level. She gets to play against the #1 ranked team in the world, the U.S. Sauerbrunn. The flick by Macario. Pushed to the outside by Christy Vilas. Nice move there. Sonnet holding. Sauerbrunn into the middle. Ertz tries to settle and go forward. Nice job to tackle it ahead. Ball still alive. Williams. And now Sepulveda.
And everyone's just having more fun when Macario's on the pitch. Sonnet just saying adios to Robledo. Suckers are in. Goes around. A little more flair out of everyone. I'm telling you, Macario. Side out of Haran.
It's catchy.
I like it.
78th minute. If you're just joining us, U.S. with a 3-0 lead over Colombia. All 3 goals by Sam Ewis, who has since been subbed out. One in the 5th minute, one in the 33rd. And a penalty kick she converted in the 47th minute to complete her first ever international hat trick. Ball out for a Colombia throw-in. And there is Sam. A job well done. Had a great World Cup and has really not looked back since, Allie.
I know. Think back to when she was hardly utilized under Jill Ellis. Made a last push, I would say, as we headed towards that World Cup, and as you said, hasn't looked back.
Yeah. At one point, she was really not an automatic selection. I know it's a crowded midfield, but she's as close to automatic as there is, I would think. It's a Colombia throw-in. Acosta will take it. Guerra. And it's going to be a goal kick. The NFL playoffs continue Sunday. NFC Championship presented by TurboTax Live as Tom Brady and the Buccaneers take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Pre-game coverage starts at 1 p.m. Eastern with kickoff at 3 p.m. Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Allie's picking the Packers. I'm picking the Bucs.
Go, Pat, go, baby.
Tom Brady, the GOAT. Here's Christy Mewis pass. That's blocked. I know Rodgers is having a fantastic year. Can't take that away. He might be the league's MVP. Macario is? I don't know.
Is. And I think you should put an S on the end of year.
What's that?
I think you should put an S on the end of year.
Oh.
He's had fantastic years.
Years. Ball pushed to the right for Colombia. I mean, it's all U.S. tonight, but if this scoreline were to stay, Allie, it's pretty flattering to Colombia, right, when you see that headline.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think they won't be happy because their goal was to have more possession, to evolve the identity, the style of Colombian soccer, and that's to get their fast wingers involved. You know, they didn't accomplish those things to this point. You know, but you're right, the scoreline does flatter them. For the U.S., it's just been a dominant performance. They just haven't found the back of the net with efficiency the way we'd expect, but it's January.
Yeah, it's first game. Christy Mewis. That's blocked. Yeah, if they were sharper tonight on the finishing, right, they had a lot of open looks in that first half.
Yeah,
like you say, it's game one. Spinorama by Lavelle. Here's Sonnet. Jersey tugged by Robledo. And that's cut off and cleared.
And even that ball, right? It's about making one extra pass. And I think the U.S. can find themselves in positions for tap-ins.
As Vlatko Andonovski, their head coach, said the other day, it's all about the details now. They're not trying to change things. This is the same team we saw last year, but they're focusing more on the details. The things that they do well, they actually want to do better. And other countries are saying, what do you mean better? How can you be better? You've won the last 2 World Cups.
I think it comes down to individual decision-making. You know, one of the things they talked about is can they actually get in front of a player defensively instead of being ball side, goal side if the pressure is tight enough. You know, I've watched a few players have an opportunity to turn. I've seen them have opportunities to get into more advanced half space, and they're receiving the ball in front of the midfield line instead of behind it. So there are details that they can improve upon, and I'm sure there's many more that Vlatko will find because he is a coach of detail. But it's those things that, you know, will help this team evolve to the next level because they think they can go higher.
And you can't tell by this game, but they say that there might be games in the future against some of the better teams where they're comfortable if they don't have the big edge in possession. They know they can play that way against them. Ball sent in. Sepulveda. Little confusion there with Acosta and her, but she's got it. In the 82nd minute, Colombia just overmatched though tonight. Regardless of the players that are missing, there were also 4 other players, some with experience, that were kept out for precautionary reasons. Came in slight contact with someone that tested positive for COVID, so they didn't want to take a chance on it, which was smart on their part. But it left them short-handed a bit for tonight. Ertz to the right. Macario. Somewhat free. Crosses coming. Another good look.
And how good has Ertz been? I mean, she's the one who lays that ball out for Purse, who's getting forward from that right back position. Not a lot of pressure coming. Time to pick up her head. And again, finding that back post. Carly Lloyd has been there all night on just about every service, having difficulty connecting and finding a goal of her own. A lot of these services coming in, though, aren't whipped. There's not a lot of drive on them, and it's more difficult to get power back towards the frame.
Well, unless they make a late sub, she may get to go 90 here in her first game since the She Believes Cup. Robledo. 84th minute, left it off. Usme. Colombia's had a bit more possession here in the second half, maybe the last 15 to 20 minutes or so, but not able to do much with it. Get up. Blocked by Ertz. LaBelle. Foul on Colombia. Foul on Daniela Arias.
She's been in the trenches tonight.
Off the head of Ibarguen. Out for a throw-in. Macario. Is she going to take it or give it up to Sonnet? She'll give it to Emily Sonnet. Sauerbrunn. Abidal Kemper holding. A little bit of pressure here from Colombia. Not a lot. Here they come with Robledo, forcing Sonnet back. U.S. escaping with Ertz to Macario. Left side open. Lloyd, step over, end line. The cross. For Lubbock. Christy Mewis. All the goals by the Mewis sisters. The third international goal.
And it's a really good rotation from the U.S. Ertz found Macario had pinched in, and Christine Mewis had floated towards that 9 spot with Lloyd pulling wide. You can see the massive channel she created by that run, bending towards the touchline, and then beats the first defender, finds the near post, and it pulled back. It's that cutback ball that was on as all the Colombians had retreated towards the goal, and Christine Mewis finds herself wide open at the top of the 6, and that ball comes right to her favored left foot. And she's able to near post Sepulveda, who had been good all night, but couldn't make a play on that one.
In the 86th minute, Christine Mewis adds to the USA lead. That's her biggest fan right there, Sam Mewis. You know, as Sarah Walsh said in the pregame remarks, right, as happy as Vlatko Andonovski can be at how well the U.S. is playing, it's going to make his job more challenging in terms of cutting players. Some very good players are not going to be on the Olympic team.
I don't think anyone feels that sorry for him.
Yeah, that's true. You'd rather have that, right? You'd
Right?
rather have the you'd rather have the excess of talent, but it is going to be difficult. It really is.
It really is. I think this will be probably the most difficult roster to pick since I can remember.
Remember, it's 23 at the World Cup, 18 for Olympics, and if you just took the 23 from the last World Cup and eliminated 5, that's one thing, but that means you'd be adding no other players. Anybody else you add, you'd have to subtract.
Did you take calculus?
No. I was never good at math, but that one I figured
Nailed,
out.
Yeah.
That was easy. Lloyd tried to leave it for Mewis. Caro. Robledo. Look at the effort there. Carly Lloyd is fighting. This is the 88th minute, and she's fighting there defensively to win that ball. Ball pushed ahead. U.S. trying to keep it there. And again, they beat that pressure. Christy Mewis. Club team, the Houston Dash, now it's played forward. There's Macario. flags up. U.S. with a 4-0 lead over Colombia. Final stages here. U.S. women are back on our air next month when they take part in the She Believes Cup. Vlatko Andonovski's side is set to face Canada, Brazil, and Japan. You can catch all 3 U.S. matches live in FS1 starting on February 18th. Don't know what the lineups are going to look like, Ali, but, you know, Christine Sinclair, all-time leading goal scorer, still playing for Canada. They'll have a new coach as well. Be a lot of new coaches popping up in the women's game. We saw Phil Neville was coaching England. He was going to leave. He's going to coach Great Britain in the Olympics, but today named head coach of Inter Miami. We wish him well. You and I got to work with him when he coached the England women. Robledo leaving because there was blood on the leg. Netherlands coach is leaving to coach England. There's other moves. Pia Sundhage still around, but coaching Brazil. It's a coaching carousel. Left sideline. Linda Caicedo. Lavelle. 90th minute. U.S. leading 4-0. It's Macario. And that's knocked away. Cleared by Acosta. Linda Caicedo. Lost it. We're waiting for a signal there. It'll be a throw-in for Colombia. And they'll take as much time as they can here. Waiting for the signal on stoppage time. We're almost at 90 minutes. Same 2 teams, same stadium on Friday. Probably lineup changes for both. Then the next time we see the U.S. will be in the She Believes Cup.
And I don't think that anyone did a disservice to their campaign to make that Olympic roster tonight. But I do think Lynn Williams was quiet on the right side. I think games like this pose more challenges for her when there's not a lot of space to stretch the opposition. I don't know that she was able to take players on 1v1 and turn the corner as often as she would have liked. I still go back to Ertz and how good she was. How Sam Ewes, yes, has the 3 goals, but Ertz was fantastic. I mean, the balls that she won, the regain she had, you know, that stops any opposition and launches the transition, the counter for the U.S. time and time again, and it largely goes unnoticed.
Kelly Caicedo just came in as that last sub. Not related, we're told, to Linda Caicedo. Robledo, who left the field with blood on the leg, was the one substituted for. Here's the U.S. And that's Sepulveda cutting it off at the near post. 4-0 U.S. lead. 3 goals for Sam Ewes, 1 for her older sister, Christy. U.S. hasn't been challenged at all tonight defensively, so a quiet night for Alyssa Nair, who came into this one with 37 career shutouts in 64 games. Macario. And that's tackled out. About a half minute or so to go here in stoppage time. In a convincing U.S. performance for an opening game. Here's Sonnet. That's another move. They'll be teasing her about that after the game. That's 2.
Saucy Sonnet.
Yeah. She may not get this throw into play. She does, but that was it. Game over. U.S. wins their first match of 2021. They're now unbeaten in 33 overall, and their home streak unbeaten in 49. The Mewis sisters were the big stars tonight. Christy Mewis with that last goal that came in the 86th minute, her 3rd of her international career. The other 3 goals by Sam Mewis in the 5th, the 33rd, and in the 47th on a penalty kick. So great effort by the team tonight. Big night for the Mewis family as we go back to the studio and Sarah Walsh.
All right, thank you, JP. Sarah Walsh here alongside Alexi Lawless, Heather O'Reilly, and what was a dominant performance by the U.S. women tonight. Heather, what did you like out of tonight's game?
Well, I think it was a good performance for the U.S. This was a classic January sort of performance that the U.S. rolled out. Dominant, but things to improve on. I think that Vlatko Andonovski is a perfectionist, and that's why I have confidence that he will continue to drive this team to improve. I think that there was a few times that they could have been a little bit more patient in the box. But hey, 4-0, not a bad way to start the season.
Now, let's get to the star of this game. Really, the whole family starred in this game. Sam Ewis is standing by. She had the hat trick tonight. And obviously, every goal is special, but a hat trick is another level. What did tonight mean to you, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, every goal was a team goal, really. I'm obviously just excited to have had that happen. It was really cool. And then to have Christy score too was like incredible and just really special. So we're just happy to be out here. It's a new year. Excited to be playing again, and it was great.
Sam, your influence on this team for the last couple of years now has just been so impressive. Your role has continued to grow, and you're even stepping up and taking penalty kicks now. Did you have to fight anybody for that one, or was that sort of understood that sitting on two that you would take it?
Well, no, I was on the list, so I happened to be in there was next to take it for some reason. So fortunately, it worked out. But I think even the build-up, that's something we work on so much from the kickoff. So Abby played this great ball in, and then Lindsay set herself up to draw the PK. So really another team goal, even though it was from the spot.
Sam, you talk about being the best version of yourself, and your team talks about being the best version of the team. Obviously, a lot of the ball and a pretty easy night for the team. What does this team have to do to improve in the next 6 months in order to go for gold?
Yeah, I think keeping our standards really high and continuing to push ourselves. I think we learn so much from games like this, and we learn so much from this week we spent training and the times that we play against each other. And Vlatko's just really harping on making sure that we're not just doing enough to win or doing enough to get by and make it work. We're really pushing ourselves to do the absolute most we can to grow and improve the squad. So I think that we're just going to continue to try to do that.
Sam, congratulations. Enjoy this one. What a way to kick off 2021.
Thanks, guys.
Sam Ewis, the 2020 U.S. Soccer Player of the Year, picking right up where she left off. Katarina Macario making her debut. We're right back to get Alexi and Heather's final thoughts.
You want to join us right around the corner. Mountain West basketball coming up from Las Vegas. It's New Mexico. It's UNLV, a very talented young team, UNLV. I'm Darren Sutton, Doug Gottlieb. We will both have the call from Vegas coming up.
FS1's coverage is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. The U.S. women with a comfortable victory over Colombia. Big night for the Mewis sisters. Sam bagging her first career hat trick, and then Christy adding a goal of her own. Vlatko Andonovski now with 12 wins out of 12 tries, extending a record he had already set for the best ever start by a U.S. women's national team manager. The Americans unbeaten now in their last 33 games. And of course, so much tonight was made about the Mewis sisters, but Katarina Macario making her national team debut that had been much anticipated. What did you think about what you saw of her out there?
I think Macario looked seasoned. She looked calm. I still remember my first cap with the U.S. team, and Christine Lilly looked over at me and said, "Heather, breathe." Because I was nervous. You know, you're waiting for this moment, and we all know that Macario has been waiting a long time for this moment. And she looked very at ease on the field, very joyful, taking players on, getting shots on goal. And the most impressive thing that I saw from her is that she brought others into the game. And, you know, Allie spoke about it on the broadcast, that you could see that other players were starting to be a little bit more, have more flair, have more fun out there. And the future's bright with that one, and the future's bright with the U.S. team.
Yeah, U.S. sisters were great. I mean, the Mew I don't know what we're calling it, but they were great. I hope somebody remembered to wake up Alyssa Nair. Otherwise, she's probably still sitting down there. You know, I started off the day talking about the dream team from '92, the Olympic men's basketball team, and the concentration of just incredible talent and that inter-squad scrimmage. And we heard Sam talk in her interview talking about how much she and the team learned just by the training day in and day out. Because the reality is that against Colombia, you're not going to learn a tremendous amount. And so I think that Vlatko and company right now are learning by the trainings that they have, much more so necessarily than the game and the ultimate score.
All right, this is the first one out of the gate in 2021. Heather, you've been there in these January camps. When you see where this team is now, how does that measure up to where they've been in years past, especially with this really long layoff?
I think they're in a good place. I think that, you know, COVID has provided an opportunity for Vlatko Andonovski to have this group longer after the World Cup. Granted, maybe not days on the pitch together, but he has more time to get his information across to the team. And I actually think that that might be the difference maker between this World Cup to back-to-back with the Olympics. You know, it's going to allow Vlatko to get his information in, and they're going to have a wonderful opportunity to win this Olympic gold.
They're back in action in just a couple of days from now, again against Colombia. The U.S. women back on our air next month when they take part in the She Believes Cup. Vlatko Andonovski's side set to face Canada, Brazil, and Japan. All 3 games live on FS1. Tonight it was a 4-0 win over Colombia in Orlando. The U.S. kicking off 2021 on the right foot. For Alexi, Heather, our entire crew, JP and Allie, we'll see you next time.